Oh, it looks like there's 43 participants. How scary is that? Wondering if you can hear me. Oh, I can hear somebody. I can hear myself. That's creepy. Oh, I can hear somebody. I can hear myself. That's creepy. Thanks for letting me know, Tama. So again, thanks for letting us know. Oh. I can't actually see myself on the video, which is a bit creepy as well. You can see I'm fiddling around here. Oh, I've managed to get that to work, but I haven't managed. No one can hear you at the moment. We're in a Zoom webinar, not a Zoom meeting, so you won't have a mic mute button or a video button. If you want to speak, you have to put your hand up, and then we can give you audio controls. You can see me messing around here. You can tell I've got no idea how to get my display panel to show. It's hiding behind the Q&A. That's where it is. Excellent. Okay, back in business. I know what I'm doing again. Oof. The joys of technology. If you've got any problems, then you can go to the Q&A and ask them, or you can go to the Easy Retro discussion board and see if anyone's got anything in Easy Retro. Look, lots of things popping up. Whoa. Heather's not here yet. As soon as she gets here, hopefully one of us will deal with Easy Retro and one of us will be dealing with the other stuff. So, okay, let's answer some of these questions. Ooh, I can see someone's raised their hand. How exciting is that? Hang on, let me find out how to give you control to speak. Participants 109. And then how do I find panelists? Attendees. Oh, hand raised. Look at that, allowed to talk. Okay, Craig, I've given you permission to talk, but your mic is muted. And I can't hear you. I'll put my volume up. Did you want to talk, Craig? Because if you did not want to talk, okay, we'll turn you off again. There's 131 people in so far. We've got potential to have thousands, 1,200 students signed up. Okay, Jordan, you've got your hand up. Let's see if we can give you permission to talk, allowed to talk. Jordan, you can talk. You'll have to unmute your mic. I can't hear you, Jordan. Are you speaking? If you are speaking, then there's a problem at either your end or mine. I'm hoping it's at your end. Let's have a look. Testing my speed. Mine's working fine. So I'm hoping it's someone else. Oh, look, there's Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Peter. How you going?
Yeah, it's a bit exciting here.
Very exciting.
We got 181 people logged in so far.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody. I feel like I'm late.
You are late. It's 8:47, Heather. I've given Jordan permission to talk, but he's not saying anything. He's got his mic muted still. I've asked him to unmute. Don't know what he's going to do. Speak to us, Jordan. Heather, there are hundreds of questions going into the Easy Retro board. It might be good if one of us keeps an eye on that and starts responding to those while the other one.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on that. Let me just get that board up.
Okay.
I just need to rouse on my dog.
Dogs are good. Okay, who's got their hand up? Someone's got their hand up. Interestingly, when someone puts their hand up, it doesn't make them move to the top of the list, which is kind of weird. Okay. Abby's got a hand up. I've allowed Abby to talk. Abby, speak to us. Your mic's muted.
Good morning.
Oh, hi, Abby. I can hear you. That's excellent news. At least I know that the audio is working at my end, which is positive. Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.
I'm going to kill you again. Jordan's still got his hand up. Jordan, do you want to talk? If not, put your hand down. If you do, leave your hand up. Jordan's still got his hand up. Okay, we'll allow Jordan to talk. You've got to speak to me now, Jordan. And Jacqueline's got her hand up. This is going to get crazy. Oh, and lots of people got their hands up. Only put your hand up if you actually want to speak. If you want to ask, let me talk. Jordan, I'd let you talk. Hundreds of people with their hands up. Jordan, talk away. Look, there you are, Jordan. I can see you on my screen. You should be able to say something. If you've got questions, folks, the easy retro board is probably the best place to go. There are also Q&As.
So, hi, Peter. I'm answering all the Q&As at the moment.
Okay.
And I'm putting up the retro board link for everybody. If you want to unmute, there's a, Jordan, I've already replied to that question about how to get, oh, good, okay. For mute, there is a microphone in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen on Zoom. If you want to go onto mute, press that and it'll go red. If you want to get off mute, press it. Just make sure you've also got volume on your computer.
Is the Zoom chat not being read? Hang on, let's go.
Peter, I'm reading it and replying to everything, okay?
Okay, so I'm looking at the Q&A, which is different to the chat, I think.
Yeah, so I'm just doing the chat at the moment.
Okay.
And then I'll get onto the retro Q&A.
Okay, well, there's another Q&A, which is the built-in Q&A within the Zoom meeting. So I've got that.
That's what I'm looking at the Zoom Q&A at the moment.
Oh, okay. So Jacqueline's asking about the Zoom chat, and I cannot actually see any Zoom chat at my end.
Oh, that's all right. I'm dealing with it.
Oh, 42 messages. Joy.
I'm replying to, I've only got 4 I haven't replied to.
Oh, excellent. Well done, you.
Thank you.
We've got another 9 minutes to go, so I'm going to sit here. I might start doing some stuff in Easy Retro just for the fun of it. Well, I'm going to leave Heather to answer that question about land type. Heather, do you know about the maths placement test?
Yes.
Excellent, because I have no idea about the maths placement test. There's loads
I
of
absolutely know about the maths placement test. Who's
What
asking?
loads of people. Where do I find the maths placement test? When do we have to do the maths placement test? What happens
Okay,
if we
so
don't pass the maths placement test?
I'll answer that, Peter. Thank you. That's a great question.
That's all the movie retro.
Oh. Well, I can't see it.
You can't see it. So easy retro things I'm confused about in green. There's loads of them.
Okay. Can I reply?
Yeah, if you click on the little speech bubble in the bottom.
Yep, there it is.
Button.
Yep.
Oh, it's not moving things to the top when people ask about them. Hang on, I need to change that. One book shows cards author. Okay, things with the most votes will now come to the top. Why am I not worried about any of these things? Love it. Great question.
All right, I've answered the question about maths placement test.
Thank you.
Peter, do you have the link for the YouTube live stream?
Yeah, I'm just getting it up now. I will paste it in answer to Josephine's question. Oh, that wasn't very helpful. I'll put it in the chat. Hang on.
Yeah, put it in the chat, then I can put it.
Bear in mind, folks, the live stream is like 20 seconds behind the actual thing. No, you can't. So I will explain this in a minute to everybody, but we're not in a Zoom meeting, we're in a Zoom webinar, which is slightly different in that you don't have any audio controls. Certainly, when questions have been answered, there's an answer questions panel and an open questions panel. Hi, Abby. So the question about turning your mic off, your mics will automatically be off. You don't have any mics. If you want to speak, you have to put your hand up, and then I can give you a microphone. But most of the time, you automatically don't have a microphone. What's the time? 3 minutes to go. Oh my God, look, I am zooming into infinity in the live stream. That's kind of creepy. I'll stop zooming into infinity. Jordan, why do you keep putting your hand up? I keep giving you speaking power and you never speak. Hang on, I'm going to give you speaking power again. Speak to us, Jordan. Your mic is muted. Oh, no, it's not. I can't hear you, Jordan. Are you speaking? If you're speaking and we can't hear you, then there's a problem with your microphone at your end. So you need to go to the mic icon, which looks kind of like it's on the bottom left. And next to it, there's a little drop down button. And if you click on that, you can then do a test speaker and microphone and check whether it's all working for you or not. Yeah, I'm going to explain that in a minute, anonymous attendee. There is another page you can go to ask questions besides the Q&A. In fact, I'll paste, actually, it's going to be on the slides. Hang on, I'll put it on here. No, not on there, on PowerPoint. Let me find my PowerPoint, hang on. Shouldn't PowerPoint. So to get to the Q&A, the easy retro where a lot of questions are being asked.
I'm answering them now.
Yeah, you can either scan that QR code, which will take you there, or you can type in that URL that's below the QR code, and that will take you there too. And basically, it's a panel. It's external to the webinar, to Zoom, because we've potentially got more students than are able to join the Zoom session if everybody turns up. Jordan, I'm killing you again because you don't seem to be doing any talking. Lily's got her hand up. Oh. Oh, someone, Aaron, you've got an old version of Zoom, which means that you're not actually able to speak. So you need to update to the latest version of Zoom in order to be able to speak. Sorry about that. We're up to 568 people in at the moment. Tama, I'm going to allow you to talk. Hang on. Oh, there's so many hands going up. I can't actually see them. Go away, little icons that pop up blocking. Okay, Tama, you can speak.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can. Excellent. Good.
I was just confused about whether we had to check in for this a certain way, or once we've joined, is that just...
You've done it. You are in. You don't have to do anything else.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, bye. I'm going to cut you off. Okay, and then Jordan, you got your hand up again. Oh, this is a different Jordan. Oh no, I let Abby talk. Abby, did you want to speak? You've got to unmute your mic if you want to speak. No, I'm going to kill you, Abby. I'm not literally going to kill you. I'm just going to stop you from talking. I'm nicer than that, really. Whoa, I'm getting so many little icons popping up, covering up the hands raised thing. It's really annoying. Zoe McDonald has her hand up. Zoe, you can speak if you really want.
Hi there, can you hear me?
We can hear you, thank you, yes.
I was just wondering if you have like already received our RIP reports from disability, if we have those.
I can answer that if you like, Peter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Zoe, you're required to email those to your course coordinators.
Okay.
Disability services don't do that. So if you have an RAP, make sure that you contact the course coordinator about that with the RAP.
Yeah.
Great question, by the way, Zoe. There'll be other people with that same question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off again, Zoe.
Thanks, bye.
Okay, bye. How do I stop Zoe from talking? Where's the little button gone? There. Disable talking. Okay, who next? Monique, you have the microphone. Can't hear you, Monique. I'm going to cut you off again, Monique. It's 9:02, so I'm going to start the session proper. This session is going to be slightly different to the normal ones because it's the first week, and I wanted to walk people through some aspects of the website, just make sure everybody knew how to access everything. So it's going to be a bit more present-y this week than it usually will be. So I apologize for that. If you don't know how to get to the Easy Retro or anything of that sort, just ask in the Q&A or put your hand up. Actually, don't put your hand up unless you want to interrupt what I'm saying because I'm waffling on and not making any sense. Anyway, let's move on. I want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we are working. There are so many different lands we're all on, so I'm not going to name specific groups of custodians, but it's important to acknowledge where we are and the traditional owners. Okay, if you want to speak, a lot of you have figured this out. there should be a little button. It says lower hand, but actually it'll say raise hand, or you can click on the Q&A thing. And when you get into Easy Retro, and there's the link to it again, if you go in there, please, there are potentially 1,200 people in this panel, so do look and see if someone else has asked the question before you ask it. Okay, so check to see if it's already been asked and answered, because otherwise we're going to end up answering the same question lots and lots of times. Obviously,
yes, I am answering lots of questions at the moment, Peter, that have been asked before. I'll keep doing it for this week, but it is good to check over.
Okay, if you've got the same question as someone else, you can use the little thumbs up icon. So hang on, let me click on this, the little thumbs up icon, which promotes the question up the list. So it moves to the top of the list. The questions with the most thumbs up go to the top, and they're the ones that we'll see first. Okay, so the questions that lots of people want answered will go to the top if they click on the thumbs up. Okay, you can respond. So if you know the answer to a question, or you want to extend a question because there's a question that's kind of like what you wanted to ask, but it's slightly different, then click on that little speech bubble and you can add a comment below the question. So you can extend the question in effect, or you can respond to the question, okay? And if you want to add a new question because your question is unique and no one has asked it before, then you can't see the right-hand side of my screen. That's a bit worrying. How many people can't, hang on, I'm going to do a quick poll because that's alarming me if you can't see the right-hand side of my screen. I'm going to see if I can do a quick poll to see what is going on here. Polling. Okay, add a question. I've never done this before, so who knows how this is going to work. Okay. Can you see my whole screen? Question mark. Oh, that's supposed to go here. Can you see my whole screen? Question mark. Yes. No. We'll just go with those two. And how do I launch it? Okay, now I don't want to add a question. I'm happy with that one. Just go. Anonymous, that's fine. Yes. Add a poll. I've added it. I don't want to add a question. I just want to. Struth. How do I make the damn thing ask you the question? That's the question I'm asking myself. We practiced this and it worked beautifully. And now it's not. Your answer is incomplete. Delete. Just go. Come on, guys. I'm going to go back up here, see what happens. Polling. Poll 1, there we go. Don't want to edit, I want to just launch it. Is my poll launching or is it just being difficult? Launch poll, here we go. No. Oh, Struth. Why is it being so awkward? Edit the poll. Sorry about this, folks. We will get slicker as time goes on. Okay, I'm not going to ask the question. I'm just going to actually, let's see if you've got hands up thing. Chunk. No, okay. I'm hoping that most of you haven't got this problem. If you have, can you add it into the Q&A chat or the retro board? Just a comment saying I can't see the board, because that's a bit alarming if you can't see the board. And I'm going to get rid of that and get rid of that and get rid of that and get rid of that. And I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Whew. So clicking on the plus sign allows you to add a new question to the easier retro board, as hundreds of you have realized. Moving on, this is what we're going to do. We're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to talk through very quickly how the course is organized. We're going to remind you and explain compulsory activities. We're going to talk a little bit about assignment 1. We're going to explain where you go to get help, other than in the Q&A sessions, because you can ask for help in between the Q&A sessions. And then, and most weeks it'll be mostly over to you, muddles, comments, issues, and so forth. Okay, so intros. I'm the one in the pink shirt. Heather, do you want to introduce yourself?
Definitely. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. There's lots of people here today, and that's fabulous. I hope you keep coming back every week. I'm busy. If you see me not quite looking at the screen during these sessions, because I'm looking at the retro board and I'm trying to answer all those questions. So I've started to write Heather when I answer questions, just so you know that it's from me, so you know it's from some informal lecturer. But I didn't do that at the beginning, so I've just started to do that.
If you log in, Heather, it'll automatically put your name in. Great.
Well, there you go. Obviously, I didn't do the right thing. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, but next week I'll make sure I log in. Thanks, Peter. So a little bit about me. So I'm the course coordinator for EDUC 1038. That's the secondary program. And I've been involved with this course for about 6 or 7 years, and I love it. Teaching first years is one of my favourite teaching courses to do. We get to welcome you to the university. I hope you have a fabulous time here. I hope it's challenging for you in a good way. Make sure that you're asking lots and lots of questions whenever you like. A lot of you might remember me from O Week, who were in the secondary program, because for this first 6 months, I'm also the program convener for the Bachelor of Education Secondary, Maths, Science, HPE, D&T, all the STEM subjects. So you'll be able to email me those kinds of questions about your program. I'm answering lots of questions at the moment about the maths placement test. Next week, Melanie Innes, one of the tutors on this course, is starting the first year experiences program, and I'll be leading one of those sessions. So I'll be doing an evening session for students with students who are parents. So students with kids is the evening session that I'll be running. So I hope to see lots of fellow parents there. If you see me around the campus, you might notice that I'm a little bit big at the moment. So I'll be going on parental leave at the end of June. So if anyone ever wants to talk to me about, and if you're a man or a woman, if you want to talk to me about what it is to be a parent at the same time as juggling university, I'm really happy to have lots of conversations about that. But if you also want to talk about just what it's like to be a student without being a parent, I'm happy to talk to you about that as well. So hi, everybody, and I hope you have a great semester. Is that all right, Peter?
That's excellent. I'll be briefer. I'm Peter. I coordinate EdUC 1048. You'll notice I like winding Heather up. I've only been working on this course now. I've only been in Australia for like 14 months. Only been working on this course. This is the second time I've worked on it. And it's the first time we try to merge 1048 and 1038. So the early childhood and primary and the secondary, this is the first time we've kind of put them all together, which is quite fun. And I think we're kind of enjoying ourselves. We are learning as we go along. And I think it's really important, you know, to recognize that we are going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. And that's good, because that's how you learn. You learn by making mistakes and then changing what you do as a result of it. Okay, so make lots of mistakes, make them quickly, acknowledge them and move on. And I'm not going to say any more about me because that's so boring. And anyway, you get to see more about me in week 2. The website, I'm going to talk you through the website very quickly. And the first thing
sorry, by website, Peter, do you mean the course Blackboard site?
Oh yeah, I keep getting in trouble for calling it the website. I do mean the course Blackboard site. That's exactly right, Heather, and I apologize. I will try and get better. So in terms of the course Blackboard site, to get to it, let's actually start, in case people don't know how to get to it. And I know that people have got their hands up and I'm kind of happily ignoring them at the moment. If you don't know how to get to the Blackboard site, the best thing to do is go to the University of Newcastle website, I think. So let's go to UON, and I'm hoping you can all get to the University of Newcastle website. And then if you click on study, you said optimistically, no, wrong one. I did this again yesterday. Oh no, go over here, go over here, go over here, and then click on study. So go to the menu, so that menu, and then click on study, and you should find, excuse my French, am I allowed to swear in Australia?
No.
No, sorry folks, I didn't swear. It wasn't me. It was one of these buttons that I pressed on last week and it told me everything about how to do things. I'm sure it was that one. They've changed the website this term and it's made life really difficult. Okay, I'm going to find in and go in by a different route. I'm going to go click here and I'm going to write Blackboard. The beautiful thing about websites is there's always more than one way to kill a cat. So I've searched for Blackboard. I've clicked on UO Online Blackboard. When you get here, you click on Blackboard up here at the top. And my screen may look a little bit different to yours, but you should get a list of my course websites, and we are on Edu 1038/Edu 1048, Introduction to Education. So you click on that, and pow, you come into the announcements page. Okay. Now, we have got a lot of sources of help in here. So the first thing, do read the announcements. They're important. We will tell you stuff you need to know in the announcements. So, and if you forget something, you can go back through the announcements, and often the information will be there. Who's Who tells you who's who on the course. This little video at the beginning explains the different roles. So it explains who a course coordinator is and who a tutor is and who you should talk to if you've got different sorts of problems. And then we got a list of all the tutors on the course, and you can see there's a lot of them. Okay, I've upset Heather because I put them in alphabetical order by their calling name, their first name, rather than their family name. Because I guess I'm assuming you're going to know us by our first names, not by our last names, or calling names, not our family names. And then there's the help section, which opens in a new window, which is really confusing. But there is lots and lots of info. If you're stuck, got a question, this is probably the place to start. Okay, because there's things like FAQs, and we're updating this all of the time. So as we get lots of new questions coming in, we will come in here and we will add stuff to it. Okay, so if you want to know about tutorial times, if you want to know about how the Blackboard site is organized, there is actually a whole section that explains each of these menus. Okay, so it explains everything that's in that left-hand menu. So I could stop talking now and just say, read it, but I probably won't, because that would be mean. Hopefully it's fairly obvious you start here in the introduction that says start here. What isn't so obvious is that when you've got to this page and you've watched the video, then you click on the welcome to Heather and what's it link, and it then comes in and you can see me cry. But this section here takes you through an explanation of how the course is organized, okay? And the important thing is that there are no lectures. There are no lectures, people. We've replaced the lectures with these Q&A sessions and with all the study activities in the website, okay? Now, lectures are compulsory, okay? But we haven't got any. So what we've done instead is we've said some of the activities in the website are compulsory, and we put an asterisk in front of the ones that are. So if we look at tutorial prep with an asterisk in front of it, that means it's compulsory, okay, that you've got to do it, all right? The assignments are compulsory, so we put an asterisk in front of it, okay? So anything that's got an asterisk is compulsory. Let's go back to how the course is organized. Every week, I can see people who put in their hands up. Once I finish going through this, I'll then respond to people who've got their hands up, okay? Every week, we're going to have the same sort of structure, all right? And if you go into weekly activities, what you'll see is we've got the whole thing organized by week. We've only released week 1 so far, but week 2 will become visible hopefully later today, will it, Heather?
Yes.
Yes.
I could make it available right now, actually.
Well, let's not. We got enough other things to do. But if you click on a week, it will take you in, and they'll always be structured in the same way. There'll always be a section for Q&A, a section for study activities, a section for tutorial prep, a section for tutorials. That will be true every week, except week 8 when we go on virtual school visits. Okay, so if we go into each of those sections, it then tells you what you have to do for that section, okay? Notice study activities here has an asterisk in front of it, which means there's some compulsory components in there. So I've clicked on that, and you can see the compulsory things are starting to think about assessment and the mandatory checks, all right? But hopefully, if you work through, it's kind of, there's a sequence to what we're taking you through. Now, the things that don't have an asterisk are not compulsory, but they are designed to help you do better in the assignments. So if you don't do them, you are likely not to do very well on the course. So we'd strongly advise you to actually work through the entire thing. So there are no lectures, but there are tutorials. So people are asking, do you have to turn up face-to-face for the tutorials? When you enrolled, you will either enrolled for a face-to-face tutorial or an online tutorial, which they call a Zoom tutorial, just to confuse you. Okay. If you've enrolled for a face-to-face tutorial, then yes, you have to come to campus, to the room where the tutorial is happening at the time that it's happening, because otherwise you'll miss it. And attending tutorials is compulsory. You have to attend 80% of the tutorials or you fail the course, okay? So yes, face-to-face tutorials are on campus, they're face-to-face and they are at a particular time and you will have signed up to do them. So enough of this waffle from me about that. If you want to know what all the other headings do, either have a click on them and look, or go to the help site and look at the course overview that will give you an explanation of how this stuff is all organized. I'm going to take a couple of questions for people who've got their hands up. So I'm starting with Monique because she's had her hand up for ages. Monique, what did you want to say? You're muted. You need to unmute.
I don't think I'm not meant to be on hand. Do I press?
If you put lower hand, your hand will go down.
I am on that and it keeps making me raise my hand.
Oh, Monique, it just wants you to talk to us.
Monique, we'll ignore your hand then if that's okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
okay. Disabling you, Monique. I don't know if all the other people have got the same problem. Cooper, you've got the microphone. You need to unmute.
Hello.
Hi.
So for this week one, we're just doing the intro to week one, all those tasks first.
So for week one, you need to do the introduction start here, and then you need to go to weekly activities and do everything that's in the week one folder.
Yep. Right. Okay? Yep. Thanks.
Now, the other thing I should say is, if you're one of those lucky people who has a tutorial on a Monday, right, like with me or with Heather, because we both got the tutorials on Monday, then you need to have done as much of the stuff as you can and all of the tutorial prep before the Monday tutorial, which is why we'll release week 2 in week 1. Okay, so that those people who got the Monday tutorial can actually do the week 2 tutorial prep in anticipation of their Monday tutorial in week 2. Does that make sense? Right. Oh, there's hundreds of people with their hands up. I'm going to take one more person with their hand up. I'm killing Cooper. I really shouldn't say.
Peter, can I just also say something butting in there? When we're talking about tutorials start today. So all tutorials are in week 1 for this course.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of you lucky people will be meeting with me and Heather later today. Jordan, you have the microphone.
You hear me?
Yep.
Yes, amen, finally. Where do I, yeah, I just wanted to be unmuted. I don't have anything important to say.
Okay, Jordan, I'm glad you got it working there. That's important.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Jordan.
you.
Hi. Okay, one more speaking part. Tanisha, your mic's muted. I'm killing you, Tanisha, because you're not saying anything. Bye. Okay, I'm going to carry on now. Going back to my PowerPoint slides because time is running short. Whoopee! Here we go. So that's enough of the website. If you've gone through the introduction start here, you will have had me talk you through all of this stuff, which is kind of an overview of what the whole course is about. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about it a lot, but do go through the introduction start here activities and the course overview, because it's kind of important for you to have an understanding of the sorts of things we're going to try and cover in this course. Okay, it'll make it much more meaningful. And basically, there's a whole lot of stuff about being a teacher, the profession. There's a whole load of stuff about what we believe and what we think education should be for, and therefore how we think it should be organized, informed by our understandings about things like global challenges and how people learn and all that sort of stuff. That's one kind of really important part of the course. The other important part of the course is about academic literacy. It's about how you deal with being an academic. And you'll notice here, independent. You will find that while we're incredibly supportive, we are not going to be spoon feeding you. Okay, so you are going to have to manage your time. You are going to have to be on your case, make sure that you're keeping up with the work you should be doing, and particularly with the assignments. Don't leave assignments to the last minute. We will be building in activities in the weekly activities and the study activities. We will put in an activity that says, work on assignment 1, just to remind you that you ought to be doing that. I'm going to take one more question now from Tanisha. You have the microphone. You need to unmute. I'm being super impatient with people who don't speak quickly.
Janisha, can you unmute yourself on the bottom left-hand corner? There's a little microphone, just click that button.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah, have you
Janisha.
spotted that Heather is
I
nicer
didn't have
than
that
me?
button there before, so I couldn't speak. I was just going to ask in regards to checking in. Is it only tutorials that will need to check in on my UON?
Yes.
Cool. So these are kind of like you log in and that's it.
Yeah, these sessions are optional, okay? Now, in a sense, you know, you'd be pretty stupid not to come to these or at least watch the recordings, because this is the place in which, am I allowed to say you'd be stupid? Yes, of course.
No, I don't think so. We don't want to use those words, Peter. That's not very nice, is it? Because there are a lot of secondary students who do have a clash. So those secondary students, they will never be able to come live, but they can absolutely watch the recording.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Peter.
And the important thing about these sessions is we are going to talk about the assignments in these sessions. We're going to explain the assignments, and that's the only place where we're going to explain the assignments. We've specifically said to your tutors, if you've got questions about the assignments, it's better to get you to ask us, because what we don't want is 30 different people all giving you different messages about what to do for the assignments. So Heather and I are the people who will tell you what to do about the assignments, and the Q&A session is where we're going to do that, okay? So if you can come to the sessions, it's better to come. If you can't because you've got a clash or, you know, for whatever reason you can't make it in a particular week, then watch the recordings, which we will put in the Q&A section of the weekly activities, okay? I'm gonna disable talking for Tanisha, and I'm gonna fire on because time is flashing by really fast. Okay, compulsory. I've already said this, but I'm going to say it again because it's really, really important. Okay, these level 1 courses, and particularly the teacher education, NESA, who oversee all of this stuff, have a requirement that you demonstrate your commitment. And it says an 80% attendance requirement for lectures and tutorials, but we've got no lectures. No lectures. There are no lectures. I'll say that again because I've been asked that about 50 times in the last week. There are no lectures. There are these Q&A sessions. But what we've done is we've said some of the activities are compulsory. You won't pass the course if you haven't done them, okay? And we are putting an asterisk in front of the name of the things that are compulsory, okay? So 5.1, starting to think about assessment, is compulsory. 1.6 is compulsory, okay? All of the tutorial prep is compulsory, okay? So really, really important that you do those things, because otherwise the danger that you will not pass the course. I'm going to take someone else's question. I'm going down my list. I'm going to do Natalie. I don't know why I'm going to do Natalie now, but Natalie, you have the mic.
Hi, so I just had a question about the compulsory items. How do you enter the enter your answers, or do you just, I don't know, so how do you know that we've done them?
So
or like,
how do we know you've done them? Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent question. Excellent question. Okay. For some of them, like these two here that are on the screen at the moment, the university actually logs it. So the mandatory checks, you have to put the information, you have to put evidence you've done them into the SONIA system. And we have the whole professional experience unit who are monitoring that stuff. And for that one, you have to bring your evidence, your mandatory checks to your tutorial in week 2. Okay. Awesome. So for most of the things that are compulsory, we will have some follow-up. Now, it might be that we're logging it on the website. It might be that it's a quiz you have to do and you have to get a certain percentage to pass. And it might be that your tutor in your next tutorial will say, oh, can I see your the SWOT analysis that you did? And, you know, you need to have it with you. Okay, so we will be checking. Good question. Let's get rid of you, disable talking, and I'm moving on rapidly to the next thing. Okay, assignments. Okay, there are 3 assignments on this course. You have to do them all. Well, it'd be pretty stupid not to do them all. You have to get over 60% to move to the next year. To pass, you have to get over 50%. I'm watching Heather's eyes because she kind of rolls them when I say something.
I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm answering questions on retro, and it keeps
that's good.
I'm not doing it to you, Peter.
I'm
glad you have big eyes, but I'm not rolling them at you.
Glad you're not rolling your eyes at me. Okay.
No, I'm not. Not today.
So the assignments are actually listed in the weekly activities section of the website, okay? And you'll see the banner kind of tells you when they're due. So assignment 1 is due in week 4 on Friday by 11:59 p.m. Okay, that's when it's due. And if you go to weekly activities and click on the link to assignment 1, then you'll see it has 2 things in here. Does it have 2? It may have 3 actually. It's got the assignment instructions, which tell you what to do. And it's got the assignment templates. And we are kind of, so I said we weren't going to spoon feed you, but this is kind of spoon feeding-ish because we actually give you a template that we want you to use for doing the assignment. So you're supposed to put your assignment response into the template. Now I'm going to show you the assignments and the instructions for for assignment 1 now and talk you through them very, very, very quickly. And so to do that, I'm going back to my browser. I'm going to weekly activities. I'm going to assignment 1 and I'm clicking on assignment 1 instructions. And I get this lovely document, okay? And it's divided into different sections. You've got the brief. The brief is what you have to do for this assignment. Okay, so that is the core stuff. You must do what it says in the brief or you won't do well in the assignment. Okay, the other stuff is just kind of advice. So submission just tells you how to submit it and guidance is guidance. But the brief is the bit that says this is what you have to do. Okay, and for assignment 1, we want you to take some notes using a particular system called the Cornell note-taking system. I'm going to take a question because someone's just put their hand up. Actually, hundreds of people put their hands up. I'm sorry to all the people who I'm ignoring who put their hands up. But I'm kind of picking on someone who just put their hand up recently. Let's go with Ellie. Ella, you have the mic.
Oh, no, it's all good. My mute button wasn't there, but it's there now when I started talking.
So you didn't want to speak? Okay, I will turn you off again. Oh, you turned yourself off. No, and you're still there. How do I get rid of you? Allowed to talk. That's really weird. I want to kill Ella. Disable talking. There she goes. Okay, I'll take one other person. Let's have Caleb. You're muted still, Caleb.
So Caleb, in the bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom screen, there's a little microphone. Good work.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Caleb.
Yeah, so a question, like, let's say if I don't make one of the lectures this week and I want to allocate like where the recordings are, how do I find the recordings of the lectures?
There are no lectures.
No, Caleb, sorry.
Like the
Caleb,
Zoom,
I think Caleb means for other courses, don't you, Caleb?
No, for like, because you're recording this like Zoom call right now, aren't you?
We are, yes.
Yeah, so where do I find this?
It will be, so this recording will be in weekly activities, week 1 Q&A.
Okay, all right, too easy. Yeah, just to like, even if I miss a few things, I can go back and briefly look at it and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thanks, Peter.
Okay,
Thanks, Heather.
Good question. Okay, let's get rid of Caleb. Disable talking. I'm going to take one more question. Let's allow Riley.
Hello,
Riley,
can you hear me?
We can.
Hi, so I just had a question about mandatory checks. It's going back a little bit, but it doesn't let me like complete them. And I know a lot of people have said the same sort of thing, but it doesn't let you complete the check.
Do you mean in the Sonia system, Riley?
I think so. I don't actually know what it's called.
Do you mean on the Newcastle website for professional experience unit?
Yes.
Okay, I think there has been a couple of glitches with that website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak with the professional experience unit this week about it and leave it a couple of days and then just try again maybe on Wednesday if you don't mind, Riley, and everyone else is having that problem.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
We'll post an announcement when we think it's sorted, will we, Heather?
No, just keep checking back every couple of days, Riley, because we could fix a glitch up, but it could happen again. So just keep trying. I know that other people kept trying and then it worked, but I don't want you to waste lots of time doing that. I think if we haven't figured it out by the end of this week, and by we I mean not Peter and I, the professional experience unit, just bring along all evidence that you've attempted to do it and that should be fine. Have you tried to do the anaphylaxis training, for example, Riley?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so try and do all that kind of stuff. Don't worry too much about uploading documents to Sonia or the Professional Experience Unit software system. Just try to do the rest of it.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Riley. Disabled talking. Okay, I'm going to carry on with my explanation. So we're back to assignment 1, the brief, part 1, Cornell notes. Now, you probably don't know what Cornell notes are, but it does explain to you down here. We've given you some links to videos that explain how to do Cornell notes, okay? And what we want you to do is to take two readings. Now, I know some people have said, where are the readings? And the answer is actually they're not all in there yet, okay? Because we're releasing the readings as we release the weekly activities. So you're not going to be able to choose the 2 readings yet, okay? Because we've only put up the Brad Beer yet, and you're not allowed to use the Brad Beer as one of your readings, because we're going to do a lot of Cornell note taking and stuff around that article ourselves. So you're going to choose 2, and then you're going to summarize them using the Cornell note taking method, and it tells you down here what the Cornell note taking method is, okay? And then you're going to use the assignment 1 template document to do your answers. So I'm going to show you the assignment 1 template document now. So I'm going back into assignment 1, and I can go in up here, click on assignment 1 templates, and it downloads this one because it's a Word document that you can actually edit, okay? So I'm opening this up. Ooh. And here is the Word document. Oh, where are all the comments gone? There aren't any comments showing here. There's going to be comments. Okay. So
if you scroll down, Peter, you'll get to them.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, and I hope it's fairly obvious, you can turn off the little blobby bits if you like. The white boxes is where we want you to write stuff. And hopefully it's clear, you know, your name goes in that box, your student number goes in this box here. How many words you've written go in this box here. And it's supposed to be 800 plus or minus 10%. Your tutor's name goes in here. And then you sign to say, it is all my own work and that sort of stuff, okay? Now, this is the bit where it gets fun. Heather told me this wasn't going to work. And we're sucking it to see.
Heather, don't tell them everything.
We got to be transparent.
No.
Yeah, we got to be transparent. They got to understand, you know, this is what happens in teaching, right? You try stuff out, it may work, it may not work, but you give it a go. And then if it doesn't work, you adapt and do something different, right? That's how teaching is, folks. So anyway, we have put, well, you can see it was actually me in this case. We've put comments down the side here, okay? So like it says, Peter Twining, your first reading summary goes on this page. This top box, this one here, is the source panel. Put the full APA reference in this top box. We look at APA referencing in week 2, so you'll get to see what we mean by APA referencing when we get to week 2, okay? When you've done that, when you've put the full reference in this box, you delete the comment, okay? To delete the comment, right-click on it and click on delete comment, okay? Gone. I'm going to undo that because I don't want to mess it up. So you work through doing what it says in each of the comments. Actually, I will delete the comment. Okay, so I've written the reference in here. Reference in here in APA 7, which gets explained in week 2. Okay, then it says this is the review panel. What it means actually is that this is the review panel, but it's not very clear. It's a bit sad. But ignore the review panel because you've got to do the notes panel first. It says fill in the notes panel on the right first. So go down to this comment. This is the notes panel, this one, the big one, okay? And you put your notes in there. You will have watched the videos about how to do Cornell notes. So it explains the sorts of things you should be writing in here, okay? But you're effectively trying to answer these questions, and you're trying to do this whenever you're thinking about a reading. You're trying to think about who's it been written for, why are they writing it, what are they trying to say, what's the problem they're trying to solve or the issue they're trying to address, what evidence have they got, what's the argument that they're making. So there's all these kind of things you're asking all the time as you're reading something. There is a specific video on the Cornell notes that we list in the, where's it gone? The answer is yes, there are videos. I mean, they are on YouTube, but there are videos. So when you go into the instructions, so I'll go back in again. Someone's just asking this in chat. When you go down here, okay, we've given you links to various different videos that explain how to make Cornell notes. And because we're super efficient, and teachers have to be super efficient, rather than making our own videos, we found videos other people have already made that are probably better than the videos we would have made. So we're using other people's videos, okay? As teachers, you could, in England, they talk about magpieing. That's like stealing, right? It's like copying great ideas. No, I know, we've never plagiarized. We always acknowledge the source. But the point is, if someone else has made a great resource that you can use and you can use it legally, then you'd be stupid not to, okay? So there are videos telling you what to do. Let's go back into Word. So you just literally work down here doing what it says in the comments, remembering to delete the comment when you finished that section, okay? And it takes you all the way down, and basically you're going to write in the reference up here, you're going to write your notes here, you're going to write a review, which is a kind of mini summary of the key points from your notes, the most important points from your notes, and then you're going to write like a summary in your own words, as if you're explaining it to your mate about what the article's really about. Look, I keep watching Heather to see if she's disagreeing with what I'm saying.
No, I'm answering the retro. I trust you.
I know.
I trust you completely. I'm answering the retro comments.
So foolish. You've learned nothing yet, Heather.
No.
Anyway, when you get down to part 2, okay, you have to write how many words is it? I can't remember, 800 words. It says in the assignment brief. Hang on, I'm going to look in the assignment brief. What did the assignment brief said? Part 2. 300 words plus or minus 10%. Okay, so it's 300 words. You've got to write an explanation of the significance of your chosen readings. That is the significance of the 2 readings that you chose for part 1. Okay, so you've got to explain how they're significant to some contemporary education issue. Okay, so you have to choose an issue which might be, you know, the impact of COVID-19 on something, schools, and that's not a great issue. It could be about the impact of NAPLAN on what teachers do in classrooms. It could be, give us an example of something you could do, Heather. A contemporary issue that we could address. We actually got a whole list.
Well, actually, there was a contemporary issue raised in the media just on the weekend, Peter, and that was about fast tracking new teachers to be principals within 10 years. So that's a contemporary issue.
Yep. And so you could have a reading that addresses that issue. Okay, so part 2 is explaining in 300 words why your 2 readings, how they inform that contemporary issue. Okay, and again, if we go back to the Word document, there is a form there, there's a box where you write your answer. Now, we don't want you to change the size of the boxes. The boxes have been designed so you'll fit in the number of words you're allowed to have. Don't change the font and all that sort of stuff. Please, whatever you do, don't delete this heading that says references. Okay, there's a comment there saying do not delete or edit the references heading. That's because we get you to submit your assignments through something called Turnitin. And Turnitin is a system that checks to see whether you've copied other people's work, whether that be other students' assignments or whether it be taking chunks of stuff out of journal articles or websites or stuff. So Turnitin looks at what you've written and it compares it to a huge database of what other people have written, which includes other students' assignments. And it then says the percentage of what you've written that overlaps with something that someone else has written. But it ignores anything that comes after the word references. So it won't then look at the references that you've listed here. And so that will reduce the percentage of things it says that are overlapped. And more importantly, down here is the rubric. Now, next week, we will talk you through the rubric in more detail. But basically, the rubric tells you what you have to do to get particular grades. Okay, so the rubric explains it's the criteria that the markers will use, your tutors will use when they're marking your assignment. Okay, but we'll talk you through the rubric a bit at a time next week and the week after. Okay, so don't worry about the rubric too much at the moment, except that you will have noticed in here that part 3 says self-assessment. Okay, and the self-assessment means we expect you to mark yourself against the rubric, not yourself, your assignment. Obviously not marking yourself, you're marking your response to the assignment. And so we're going to be asking you to mark the assignment yourself and put the grade you think you should get in this column that says self. But again, I'll explain that in more detail in the subsequent Q&A sessions. Very conscious that we nearly should be shutting up. So I'm going to stop now, get rid of that. Don't save it, Peter. We don't want it. And I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Kapow, that's that done. Whoa, help. I've already told you about the help, but there's lots of places you can get help, okay? We work on a model that says we have very high expectations, but we want everyone to succeed. And we are going to bend over backwards to support you to make sure you succeed, okay? So if you've got a question, if you've got a confusion, if you've got a muddle, if there's something you want to ask about, ask, right? You can ask in these Q&A sessions. You can ask in the help discussion forum. So there is a discussion forum called Help, actually called Help Discussion Board, where you can ask questions. And there are lots of answers to questions. Whoa, stop scrolling. There are lots of questions to answers to questions in the help section of the website. And we're adding to this all the time. Okay. Ooh, anyone else's Blackboard screwing up when I click on notifications? Stop reading the chat, Peter. So please, if you've got something you're unsure about, your first thing you should really do is check the help section of the website and see if someone else has already asked that question and it's already been answered, because you'll get a quicker answer that way. Basically, you won't have to wait for us. You'll get a quicker answer if it's already been answered in help. And if it's not in help, then the next place you should go is the discussion forums and the one called the Help Discussion Board. And again, have a look through and see if someone else has already asked that question, because the answer may already be there. So you won't have to wait around for someone to respond. You can just find the answer for yourself. If the answer isn't in the Help Discussion Board, then post your query in the Help Discussion Board. Now that is good, partly because there's lots of people who can see that discussion board, and someone else, one of the other students may know the answer, or one of the other tutors may know the answer. So you're not relying on just Heather or I. And Heather and I, you know, sometimes we sleep, sometimes we go wave skiing. I'm not very good at it, spend a lot of time upside down. Sometimes we, you know, do stuff with our kids or whatever, right? So we're not on there responding to your queries all the time. So if you email us, it's going to take longer to get a response than if you put it in the discussion board. Okay. If it's a personal thing, right? If you've got an issue that's just to do with you and isn't a general question about how do I change tutorial group or that sort of thing, you know, if it's a personal thing that it's not appropriate to share with everybody, then of course, email Heather and I using the IntroToEd@newcastle.edu.au email address, which you can find in the contact in the Who's Who section. If you look at Heather and I's contact information, the link is there to IntroToEd@newcastle.edu.au. Okay, so please do ask lots of questions. Obviously, do ask questions in the tutorial groups, in the tutorials as well. But if it's to do with the assessment, you're better asking us than anybody else. And I'm going to allow Tamar. You've got the mic, Tamar. Oh, look, we've had all that.
So I just had two questions, one regarding the rubric.
So greedy. Yeah.
Where would we go to find that? I've actually just gone into Blackboard and I'm searching around and I couldn't find that. So whereabouts do we go to find that rubric?
Okay, I'm going to end my PowerPoint slides. I'm going to go, no, don't save them. Have I changed the PowerPoint slides? I don't save the PowerPoint slides. Oh my God, what have I done? I've done something terrible.
So while Peter's sorting that out, Tamar, if you go onto the Blackboard site, on the left-hand column, Peter's there now, it says assessment. If you go to, Peter, could you just go to assessment for me?
Yeah, you're better off going to weekly activities, but anyway, yeah.
Well, anyway, you can go to assessment, because this is where we have the academic integrity policy that you need to do as well, and information about APA referencing. And also, here's where the 3 assignments are kept as well. So you can click on that assignment 1, and we've got all the instructions and so forth there, and that would all be coming down.
Okay, so
where's the criteria sheet, Peter?
It's in templates.
In templates.
If you go into the templates, the rubric is in the templates, and it's in the templates because we ask you to mark yourself against the rubric. So we've included the rubric in the template.
Oh, awesome. I did have a second question.
Yeah, go for it. Be greedy.
my second my second question was about math placement. Are we, when we refer to math placement, are we talking about the land type? Or...
No, Tamar, can I just ask you a quick question? Are you a math secondary teacher?
No, I'm
okay.
in the Bachelor of Education and Primary Education.
So you only need to do the maths placement test. This is for everyone, Tamar. You only do the maths placement test if you are a high school teacher studying maths.
Oh, okay, right.
So anybody else, ignore anything about maths placement tests. And if you're a maths secondary school teacher, you would know a maths placement test because we spoke about it at O Week. And if you've forgotten, I put heaps of links on Retro because this question's being asked a lot. Or type in maths placement test on the University of Newcastle website and it will show you what you have to do. You can avoid doing the maths placement test if you're a maths teacher by doing math 1002. But if you think you're a hotshot at maths, which you should be, or you could be because you're a maths teacher, then you can do the maths placement test to not do that course. But you either do the maths placement test or you do math 1002. Now, if you do the maths placement test and it determines that you should do math 1002, then you still have to do that course.
Okay, so, but that's only for secondary school teachers who are math specialists.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. That's really clear. The other thing I wanted to mention about the assignments was that if you need an extension, okay, then in the assessment section, so I clicked on assessment, okay, down here, it tells you about extensions. What it actually does is it takes you to the help wiki where it tells you about extensions, okay? And effectively, if you want a really short extension of a couple of days, then you fill in this form, which basically tells Heather and I why you want an extension. We will then send you an email saying, yeah, we're happy for you to have your 2-day extension. You then have to still fill in something called the adverse circumstances form, which there's a link to here, but you can attach our email as the documentary evidence that they ask for, okay? Good question about word limits. If you go, you're given a 10% leeway. So if you go 10% over the 300 words, so 330 words, no problem. If you do more than that, then you are supposed to be penalized. Now, the way I approach it, and Heather will probably tell me off here because I may not do the right thing, but the way I approach it is I just ignore anything that you've written above 330 words. Look, you see, she's looking at me and said, really, Peter, you do that?
No, that's not what I meant. I was looking at, I'm trying to see the screen. How many words is it? 300?
300, so you can do 330 because that's
yes.
10% more. If you do more than 330, we'll ignore 331 to 300 and whatever, okay?
That is correct, Peter, and that's the general expectation at university. Good work.
Okay, and the same thing, so in the last assignment is actually to make a 5-minute video and write some text. The 5-minute video, if it's more than 5 minutes, we'll kind of go 5 minutes plus 10%. But if you go more than that, we're going to ignore anything that comes later. So it's really important to keep to the word limit because you might say something's fantastic in the 6th minute and punk, we're not going to read it or listen to it or watch it or whatever. Okay, we should have finished because I said we were going to finish these things at 1/4 so that people can get to their next event. I will hang on for another few minutes, but officially we're kind of finished. If people want to ask questions, I'm going to go with Amy. Oh, I've got to kill Tamar. Sorry, hang on.
And while you're killing Tamar and getting on Amy, Peter, I'm also going to be staying on the retro board until I've answered all those questions. But could I ask people writing new questions, please just have a look at the questions already being asked and give it a like so that I know that all people want to ask that question because it's just making it easier. So
Amy's disappeared. Amy must have put her hand
people are leaving, Peter.
Oh, leaving. How could they do such a thing? I'm going to go to Natalie. Natalie, you have the mic. You need to unmute.
Hi, sorry, I accidentally touched the hand button. Sorry, I was opening a package. My bad.
Bye. Right, let's go to Caleb. Oh no, I've got William by mistake. Sorry, William, you got the mic. I don't know how I did that. They keep jumping around.
Hello.
Hi.
Just with those assessments on Sonia, when does that have to be due by?
We want you to bring along evidence that you've done them by the week 2 tutorial.
Can I also say about that, William, is that we understand that it takes a while to get the Working with Children check. We know that sometimes the Working with Children check office is 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 weeks behind in their work. So long as you have applied for it by week 2, that's enough for us.
Yeah.
Okay. Disabling. Okay, let's go with someone else. Ella Sanderman. You have them. Do you have the mic? No, you haven't. Hang on. Allowed to talk. You've got the mic, Ella. You need to unmute.
Oh, sorry. I actually didn't mean to have my hand up. That was.
Okay, I've cut you off. Bye. Okay, let's try Reese. You have the mic.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, I have 2 questions. Number 1 is with the assessment, what is the reading? Are they like news articles or something?
No, they'll be the course readings like academic articles, Reese, and you'll get those in the coming weeks.
Okay, fantastic. The second question is about Sonia. When will those be checked by the team? Are they just like done like 2 or 3 weeks after we've submitted them?
So do you mean when you've submitted it to Sonia, Reese?
That's correct.
It'll be done as soon as possible.
Okay, fantastic.
And it's done by the professional experience team. So they are really hard workers and they get to it pretty quickly, actually.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for that.
Okay. Next person is Monique. You have the mic. You need to disable your, you have to enable, yeah, that's it. Oh.
Monique, could you please go to your microphone on the bottom left-hand corner and press it? Yep, there you go. Go, Monique.
No, ignore my hand. It just doesn't go off.
Oh, Monique. That's okay. I have problems with the hand too sometimes on my Zoom.
It's the hand. Isn't there a film about that? That's Sarah, you have the mic. You need to unmute, Sarah. Bottom left as Heather's. Yeah, you got it.
With the mandatory trainings, are they all having to be complete by next week?
So Sarah, I just said a minute ago to the other person, what we're going to do is we're going to get them done by next week, but sometimes it takes a while to process them. So long as you've done your bit and applied for WW's, the Working with Children check, and done those other requirements, that's enough.
Righto. So, and that's all on Sonia?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I'm cutting you off. Disable talking. Who have we got next? Zoe. Need to unmute, Zoe. Bottom left, that's it.
Hiya, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Zoe.
So I just had a question. It was about the self-assessment of our rubric. Will that affect our mark at all, or is that just like a fun way for you guys to torture us?
It's just a fun way for us to torture you, Zoe. And by us, I mean Peter.
That's all right.
So
Zoe,
you won't lose marks depending on how you do it. Sorry, Peter.
So this was Heather being nice and me being horrible. I wanted you to get marks for how close to your tutor's grade you put yourself.
That sounds nice.
I thought that was good.
No, that sounds like torture. So Zoe, luckily I won that argument. You're welcome. You can remember that throughout the semester.
So basically it won't affect our mark, but it will affect how you view us as people.
No, it won't, Zoe. Not at all, because marking is really difficult. Assessment is really hard. What we want you to do is that when you've finished your assignment is to carefully read the criteria and go, I wonder what I would get here. And that also provides an opportunity for you to change your assignment before you submit it.
2 things I'd add. One is I would look at them before you write your assignment because it's better to do that. And the other is you actually do get marks for doing it. So you don't get marks for doing it well, you get marks for doing it. So you can get up to 5 marks for doing the self-assessment. So if you don't do the self-assessment, you won't get any marks. But if you do all of the self-assessment, you'll get 5 marks.
It's like a participation mark, Zoe.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that makes sense. And I just had one more thing. I know we're in a rush this time, but next week, sometimes when you guys talk really fast, the mic just kind of gets muddled and the information doesn't get out. Is there any way that we could slow it down just a
You
tiny,
could just say to us,
bit?
talk slower.
I tried. It.
Tried and we ignored
I
you.
tried
I'm so
4
sorry.
times. It's
Okay,
fine. I'm
Zoe.
used to it. It's fine.
There
Sorry,
is
Zoe, thank you for that feedback.
Yeah.
I guess there's so many people on today
Yeah.
that we probably have been rushing it a little bit. We had like 800 people on at one stage, but it's a
Yeah.
good reminder to slow our voices down. So
I think it's just the mic doesn't pick up everything, and so
Yeah.
because I'm writing everything down as we go, and then I'm kind of getting lost, and like especially with Peter, because I know you were trying to power through it, I was just like,
Yeah. I'm hoping that there's actually going to be a transcript of this whole thing automatically generated.
that would be lovely.
I've turned it on to do the auto transcript, and I can see it doing it on the bottom of my screen. So
Yeah,
I don't
me
know.
too.
So hopefully there will. But yeah, I always talk too fast. I'm sorry, and I haven't
That's
got
okay.
an Australian accent, which makes it harder.
That's all right. I've got half of one anyway, so I'm with you there.
Okay. Thanks for the feedback. So that's really
Thank you.
helpful.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, who have we got now? Jane Roberts, you have the mic. Bottom left to unmute.
Can
That's
you
it.
hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, I'm just wondering, when you opened up the template for the assignment 1, mine actually doesn't look the same as yours. Is that?
What?
Yeah. I don't know.
And Jane, you're not the first person who said that. That was on Retro. So
Yeah.
Peter and I will look into that and just clarify and make sure it's the same.
Okay, that's fine.
And have that updated by next week.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Could you do me a favour, Jane?
Yes.
Could you email a copy of what you've downloaded to
Yes.
IntroToEd@newcastle.edu.au, because then we can see what you're downloading and we can see whether it's the wrong version of the file or what it is.
Okay, and can you please repeat that email address?
Yeah, it's IntroToEd. So IntroToEd
Yes.
at Newcastle.
Yes.
.edu.au.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the feedback. It's good to know that it's not working, or at least it's not good that it's not working, but it's good to know that it's not working. Okay, who have we got next? Oh, no, Jane's disappeared. Indiana, you have the power. Nope. Indiana may have put her hand up and just never taken it down again. Unmute, Indiana, bottom left. That's it. We should be able to hear you, but we can't. But you are unmuted. I'm going to cut you off, Indiana, because there's some problem with your audio. If you look at the mic button down the bottom left, to the right of it, there's a little drop-down arrow, and you can go in and do an audio test, and then maybe try again in a minute. Okay, Ebony, you have the microphone. You need to unmute bottom left. You got it?
Can you hear me?
We can.
I was just wondering if you could go through how to complete the Sonia checks, because every time I go to the link, it's very unclear.
I actually haven't got access to Sonia, so it's a bit difficult for me to go through what you have to do on Sonia. And it may be that it's because there's a problem with the system that you're having problems.
Ebony, do you want to try back in another day or two?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll speak to the PEU about this, because you're not the only person with this problem, which also says that there might be something about the software. And it also might be overloaded, because we've got you guys, we've got the master's students, we've got about 1,500 students trying to access it at the moment.
That's all good. And I just had another question.
Yep.
I heard land type being spoken about, and I just have no idea what that is.
So, Ebony, we don't talk about land type in this course because it's something that's a lot bigger than the course. If you go to your orientation recorded video, orientation week recorded video, it'll have information about land type there. You will also be sent out information about land type pretty regularly by the university. So
Okay, where do I find that recording?
Now
you're asking.
I don't know, but you would have been sent an email about it from your team. Or you can email education@newcastle.edu.au to ask them that. Don't worry about land type this semester is my advice.
Okay.
And some people don't do it till year 3.
At the moment, think about land type from semester 2 onwards. You need to have it done before your 4th year. So you've got a bit of time. Just concentrate, this is for everybody, Ebony, just concentrate on getting into university, getting into the groove, and then worry about land type afterwards.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
People were asking if they could leave now. Yeah, you can leave anytime, guys. Officially, we finished at 9:45. Okay. Oh, the other thing we should have said to Ebony is if you're having problems, worth asking you into your tutorial, particularly if you've got your laptop and you can show your tutor what's happening. Maybe they'll be able to help, he said optimistically. Who have we got with their hand still up? Rory, you have the mic. Rory James.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
I was just wondering, to sum up, what do we need to do this week? Just that week 1 activities.
Okay, so you should have, you've done well to be here. That's a great start. Make sure you've signed up for a tutorial. Go through the introduction, start here, and then go through the whole of week 1.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, Rory. Okay, who have we got next? Let's try Emily Jones. You have the mic, Emily. You need to unmute, bottom left.
So Emily, there's a microphone in the bottom left-hand corner of Zoom and it says mute. Just click on that and it'll unmute you.
That's it, you got it.
Wait, you can hear me?
We can.
Okay, good. Sorry, my internet connection sucks.
Yeah.
I was just wondering about like submitting drafts and things like that. If we do our assessment, can we submit drafts to you or does it have to go through someone else?
Okay, so Emily, we don't check drafts. Your tutors or course coordinators won't check drafts at the University of Newcastle unless you have a very small course. So what instead we have is the PALS team, which is student learning advisors, and they've got lots of different workshops that they hold, and we'll be advertising those in our course. And I really encourage everybody to access these workshops, and the person there will read through, they won't read through a full draft, but they will certainly read through a paragraph or two, some sentences, and give you advice on what you should be doing and and they can then offer further assistance about paragraph structure, referencing, academic literacy. So go to them, those people, and they will help you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And they are, for everyone else listening to this, they are the most fabulous resource ever. So even if you think you're a pretty hot shot at writing academically already, and I know a lot of you are, I would still encourage you to go along to get advice.
Well, and it's just good in terms of, somebody else who's not you reading your stuff will spot stuff you didn't see. And they'll say, I don't understand that bit, or that bit's not clear, or what do you mean by? And it's just helpful to have someone else read it. So it could be someone else on the course. It could be one of these past people. Always
not past, Peter.
Oh, not past. Pals.
Not past, pals.
Pals.
Which is Lil Hayes, Peter, the learning advisor.
Oh, thank you. I was wondering. That's so good that I've got you here to put me right. I make so many mistakes otherwise. I must disconnect Emily and on to Ebony. I think Ebony's talked already. We'll allow her to talk again. We're nice like that. Ebony, you have the mic. You need to unmute bottom left.
Sorry, my hand was still up from before.
Okay, I'll cut you off. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Put your hand down if you don't want to speak anymore, folks. Andrew, you have the mic. You need to unmute bottom left. Yeah, you got it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks, Peter. Thanks, Heather. Great stuff so far. Just a quick question regarding assignment 1. In part 2 of the brief explanation, it says as the articles relate to contemporary education, inverted commas, essentially, and you intimated that we choose a singular contemporary issue to relate the articles to.
Yep.
A bit of both with only 300 words, or should we really specifically identify this is the issue I'm addressing and that's it, or contemporary education more broadly with that small word limit?
I'd be quite specific myself.
Yeah, you're not going to be talking about contemporary education broadly, Andrew. You're just going to pick one issue that relates to that is in the public sphere.
Oh, great! I'll do that. Just that the question itself doesn't sort of say that, so I'll just choose an issue as opposed to contemporary education. Great.
But it's an issue in contemporary education, Andrew.
Yeah. Oh yes, and I appreciate that. So yeah, as you
So,
said,
for example, we're not going to talk about the rules of female teachers in the 1960s.
No, I'm with you. Yeah,
or the literacy crisis of the 1970s. We're going to talk about should NAPLAN be reintroduced in 2021 after having a hiatus in 2020?
Should we get rid of the ATAR? Good question.
No problem at all. I just thought I'd clarify after reading the question as was written. Yeah.
Well, and that's useful feedback to us. Next year, we'll change the wording so it's clearer. But
you're right. No, all good. I just wanted to make sure that I could just focus all my 300 words into the one point. Excellent.
Absolutely. Yes,
Thank
definitely.
you.
Good.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye.
Andrew. Bye. Okay, who have we got left? Olivia. I really am going to have to stop soon because I've got to go to a tutorial in a minute, but we'll try and get through as many people as we can. Go, Olivia, you've got the mic.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
I just had a quick question. I read something about needing to get like a working with children's, blah, blah, blah. I actually already have one for my job. So does that just transfer over or is it a different one that I need?
No, Olivia, it transfers over directly. So if you've already got a working with children check, whether volunteer or paid employment, just enter that data straight in. So you can only get one working with children check. So you're already above,
But you do have to enter the details into Sonia. So you don't
okay. And just whilst we're on it, were there any other like checks or things like that that I needed?
There's the anaphylaxis checks and so forth that are in the weekly week one activities.
So if you go to week one study activities, I'm just doing it now, and look at mandatory checks, and you follow the instructions here, it tells you all of the things you have to do. Okay, and there are 5 things you have to do.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much.
Right. Okay, bye. Okay, where are we up to? Let's try Isabella. You've got the mic, Isabella.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just in regards to the working with children check again. So I'm still only 17. Do you have to be 18 to then apply for the working with children check, or can I do it now?
So Isabella, you need to wait until you're 18 to apply. I've also been answering this question on Retro, by the way, for other people who have been following that, but this is a great question. So you cannot apply for it until you're 18. So what I want you to do is let your tutor know that you can't do it, but you can do the other parts. And as soon as you turn 18, Isabella, and everybody else listening at the moment, I want you to get on straight away and apply for the Working with Children check, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Okay, bye. Okay, who have we got? Amy Boylan. You have the mic.
Hello, can
Hi.
you hear me? Sorry, I don't know if this question has been answered, but I actually had no idea about Sonia until now.
Yep.
So I already have all those checks because of my job, but I don't actually know how to put the information in because I'm so clueless about Sonia.
Well,
Okay.
so go to activity 1-6. So
Yeah, it's not coming up in my thing.
Yep. So Amy, there's been a couple of problems, I think, with the Sonia website in the past few days, and it might be because it's getting overloaded because like about 1,500 students trying to do it. So I'm just going to suggest to all students, if you're having problems, just wait a couple of days and then reapply or redo it. If you're still experiencing problems, please contact the PEU@newcastle.edu.au, and they will be able to help you. But try it again in a couple of days, please, Amy.
So do I just go onto the Sonia website and then all the information is there?
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood your question because I thought you said you couldn't get onto it.
No, that's okay.
Follow.
But yes, go onto the Sonia website and do what it says.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Amy.
Okay, I'm going to have to go very shortly. Let's, Niam, you have the mic.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was curious about, oh my God, I've got my question now. It was about a check. Oh no, sorry. It was about the integrity module. I did that in 2019. Do I have to redo it? Does it expire?
Did you withdraw from the university or did you just change degrees?
2019, I believe I deferred and then I dropped my courses and took a leave of absence in 2020. So I've been enrolled the whole time.
Okay, then that's fine, Neith. You don't need to do anything.
Amazing. Thanks very much.
Great question, by the way, because there's lots of students like you in our course that have come from a different degree or something. And if you've already done the AIM, then that's all you need to do. There's also going to be the consent matters module though, and we're going to talk about that in week 2. So you need to, if you didn't do that, I don't know if that was available a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that.
Great, then you need to do the consent matters module next week.
Perfect. Thanks very much.
Right. Okay, who have we got? Sandra. I'm only going to take a couple more. Oh, Sandra, I can't get you to talk because you've got an old version of Zoom. You need to download the new version of the Zoom client or else you're not going to be able to talk. Ella, I'm giving you the mic.
Hi, I was just wondering about the textbook. So I don't have my textbook yet. Will you be providing the chapters online for us?
Okay, Ella, I can answer that question. So there's been a bit of a problem with the bookshop not ordering enough books, okay, just to put it plainly. So they're getting them ordered now. You can also access a copy of the textbook at the library. There's one at Callaghan, one at Arimba, and they're on a short loan period, so you can have them for 24 hours. Because students are waiting for their textbooks to arrive, this week I will put on the readings by the end of the day, what the week 1 readings are for the textbook. It'll be on Blackboard. Alternatively, I found this out last night by accident, and this might be for anyone who's interested. If you go to the School Locker website, and the School Locker is our bookstore here at the University of Newcastle. If you go to the School Locker website, you can hire the textbook for 6 months at 94 cents a week, which figures out at about $24.
Do that
over the 6-month period. And I recommend that might be a good way to go about it. It's a lot cheaper than buying the textbook. I probably shouldn't say that because I wrote it, but it'll save you lots of money by just hiring it for 6 months. And for those of you who, and I know that money is tight for lots of students, then you could hire it. You can, but it's also beneficial to buy it because you might use it in future years, by the way. Or you can go to the library.
But we will be providing PDFs in the next week or so for the things we require you to read in weeks 1 and 2 because of the problem with getting access to the book.
Okay, so thank you.
You're
Right.
welcome.
Good question. Okay, I'm only going to take a couple more because I really have got to go to my tutorial. I don't know who I've given access to. Akashot.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just going to ask you, you were talking about that Turnitin in software.
Yeah.
Is there any other software so I can put my assignment and let know about how much it is overlapping?
You can submit your stuff to Turnitin and get a report before you actually submit the assignment.
Okay, so where I have to find that Turnitin in software?
The link will be in the assignment folder, but it's not released yet because we don't want you to be able, we will release the Turnitin link a couple of weeks before the assignment is due.
Okay, and about that assignment, we have to read some articles like the reading articles or whatever. So
Yeah, we will tell you, and in the coming weeks, we'll be sharing articles with you that you have to read that you can then choose some of those to use in the assignment.
okay, so you're giving us the articles by reading us and retracing the articles. We have to submit our assignment, or we have to go through the internet or something for our assignments.
Well, I think we suggested you use course readings, but I don't think we'd stop you using another academic journal article if you found something you thought was better.
Okay, so you're providing us the article and we have to go through it and rephrase the lines or whatever. So, and after doing that, we have to submit our assignments.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Bye. Right, this really is my last one. Hamish, you have the mic.
Hey, it kind of got answered before. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go.
But all essential textbooks, we are required to purchase them. Like I've talked to a few past primary school students and they said, oh, you can normally get away without the textbooks. But what's your view on that?
Well, so the first thing I'd say is this course is very different to the previous version of the course. So Edu 1048 last year had a completely different textbook and the course was very different. We've basically rewritten the entire course and we are heavily writing it around the textbook because Heather wrote the textbook. So my guess is you are going to be expected to read the textbook every single week. So, you know, your choice. But I mean, I have to say, having heard that you can hire it for 94 cents a week, that's what I'd be doing.
And Hamish, this textbook was commissioned by Cambridge Press to be written around this course. So they specifically wanted me to write a textbook for this course. So we really will be using it a lot. And I know some students do say you don't need a textbook. I'd question what their results were and if they were as good as they could be, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, sweet. Thank you.
I lied. I'm going to take one more because there's people still putting their hands up. Who will I go with? Charmaine, you have the mic.
Hi.
Hi.
So I know that you said not to worry about land height right now, but when my degree is done and finished, I was wanting to work in the early childhood sector, like in preschool and stuff. So do I need to do land height for that, or is it just for primary and secondary education?
So Charmaine, because your degree is Bachelor of Education, Primary and Early Childhood,
yeah,
you cannot go on your internship until you've done land height.
Okay, all right.
And I just want everyone to know this, because land height sucks, and we know it sucks, that it's not a university requirement. This is set out by the government.
Okay.
Otherwise, we wouldn't make you do it.
Sure. All right. Thanks for answering
Right.
that.
Okay, bye. Oh, we're still here. There's not that many hands left. I'm going to keep going for a bit longer. Oh, and we got Kyla with surfing. Go for it.
I was wondering, with the tutorials, do they discuss the assignments in there, or is it literally just here that we're gonna?
We have specifically told the tutors not to discuss the assignment.
Okay, and is there?
And the issue is, Kayla, what was happening on previous courses that different people were getting different information, and what we want is everyone to get the same information so that some people don't get penalised because they've done the wrong thing.
Okay, yeah. And do we have a pass course for this one?
I have a meeting with the past people tomorrow to discuss whether or not we're going to have a pass course for this one. I will let you know once we've had the meeting.
Sorry, just one more. With the assessment, are you gonna like give us the readings and then we kind of argue the point as to why something should happen, or is it like we write down the main points of the reading, if that makes sense?
So you're going to choose some readings from things that we've asked you to read during the course. Yep. And you're going to decide the issue that you want to focus on. So actually you probably need to decide the issue first and then choose readings that relate to that issue. Okay. And in the notes, you're going to write a summary of what each of the readings says. Right. And then in the commentary bit, you're going to write about how those readings relate to the issue you've chosen.
Okay, so we just not make up, but find an issue, or you give us a list of things?
You can fantasize an issue, any issue you like to do with contemporary education.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Kyle. Oh, I think you just did one. I'm going to get rid of you again. Remember to put your hands down, folks, when you've had your question answered. Jacob, you have the mic.
Hi, I've got a few questions. I'm sorry if they're not like you've already answered them or
Go
something.
for it, Jacob. Go for it.
The working with children check. Where can we find it, and how do we submit it while we do? And when you do the mandatory checks, does it automatically show that you've done them?
So if you go to week 1 study activities 1-6 mandatory checks, it tells you follow the instructions on that page, and it tells you where to go, how to do the checks, what the checks are, how to submit them, and all that stuff. If that stuff isn't clear, then email the professional experience unit, and the email address is at the bottom of that page that I've just mentioned, because they are the people who write those instructions, and they are the people who look after the Sonia system.
Okay, thank you. My second question was about the assignment. You mentioned that there was a self mark, and when you showed the thing, I didn't see where you do the self mark.
I will talk you through that probably next week. We're going to look at the rubric next week, and I will explain the rubric in more detail. So don't worry about that for now. I will explain that in next week or the week after. All right.
Okay, thank you. And my last question is about the readings. I'm pretty sure you basically just answered that, but we're going to be told what to read, and we're going to make the issues on those.
So each week we will get you to read some stuff, okay? And what we've suggested is that you select from the readings we've suggested, okay? But you can choose an issue that is of interest to you. And to be honest, I don't think you have to stick to the readings we've suggested. If you've got some better readings, we're happy for them to use any old reading they like, aren't we? As long as it's an academic journal article.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay. I've still got several people with their hands up. I'm hoping most of them have actually just forgotten to put their hands down. Hazel, you have the mic. You need to click on the unmute at the bottom left of your screen. That's it, you got it.
There we go, I've got it now.
Yeah,
it's Giselle, by the way, sorry. I just had a question. So where do we submit assessments or assignments? That was one of them.
Okay, so go on, Heather.
We'll go through that next week, I think, and step you through it.
Yeah, no worries. And the other question was to do with the assignment. Do we do the two what are they called, readings? The 2 readings have to relate to the issue, or how does it work? I'm so confused.
Yes, the 2 readings.
Azelle, don't be confused. Today's been a really full-on day. My brain is going crazy at the moment.
That
It's
was
whirling
mine.
around.
I'm so lost. I didn't even know what Sonia. I'm like, what?
Don't be lost, Azelle. It's normal not to know this stuff. This has kind of exploded this session, which is fabulous. But what Peter and I will do next week is we will go through step by step really carefully the assignment. So for now, for this week, just concentrate on wrapping your head around being at university. Next
Remember,
week,
you're only like an hour into your studies. You know?
I'm so lost. I'm like,
there's a lot of information as well. So what we'll do is next week during the Q&A, which is also recorded, we will go through the assignment really slowly, really in depth, and hopefully next week there won't be as many questions because I'm answering them now still. So just hang 10 and come back next week and we'll go through the assignment stuff.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. No worries.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, what have we got? Olivia, you have the mic.
Hey, sorry, this could be a bit irrelevant, but what actually is land type or land? Yeah, land.
It's a test you have to do about maths and literacy, but don't worry about it for the time being.
Olivia, it's a literacy and numeracy test that's put in by the government that all pre-service teachers have to do before year 4, before their internship. But I suggest not doing it in semester 1.
Okay. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye. Right, who have we got? Zoe McDonald, your hand is still up. I don't know if you still want to talk, or maybe it was a different.
Yes, I did. Sorry.
Okay.
So we spoke a little bit earlier about the reasonable adjustment plan. I'm not sure if this is more a question for Heather, but so they haven't emailed it to me yet, which means that my teachers don't know what my disabilities are. And I'm wondering, would it be best if I went to the class a little bit early to talk to the teacher to kind of explain, because it is I have Tourette's, and
Okay.
it can be quite distracting, and it's a bit confronting for people. And sorry, there's like a million people on this call, so I'm really nervous saying it, but yeah, it's not something that I can hide.
Yep.
So I'm nervous about today if they don't know what
Who's
I have.
your tutor?
So Zoe, can I just ask you, thank you for letting us know about this issue. And
No
also
problem.
I think you're really brave for saying it in front of all of your peers, okay? And
Hi,
I think
peers.
it's really, and I think it's really important that we bring any disability into the open. So thank you very much for that. That's fabulous. What I want you to do, Zoe, is could you please email me and Peter at IntroToEd and just tell us, and I will make sure that your tutor knows. But I also
I just wasn't sure because it's motor and verbal, so I can get physical like to myself, and I just didn't want people to be like, call the ambulance or something.
That's great, Zoe. I think you're really mature for raising this. What I want you to do is email us. And also I think it's a really good idea, and I'll let the tutor know confidentially and kindly and everything else. And then what I want you to do is yes, go to the tutor early and say, hi, I think Heather and Peter told you about this situation. I'm Zoe, and here's what you need to be aware of. And then your tutor will know
So
what to do.
I don't like, it might be easier if they just say like I'm fine saying it in front of the class, like, hi, I'm sorry if I distract you. I sit at the back so I don't. Like in all my previous classes, I've sat at the back so that if I do have tics, it's not as disruptive to the other students learning. But I can like shout and make noise, and so
I think if you're comfortable, and I'm glad that you are, in talking to your peers at the beginning of the tutorial about what it might be like for you during the semester, I think that is absolutely fabulous. So please do that.
Okay, I just didn't know what to do because like the adjustment plan hasn't come through, so the teachers won't know that I have disabilities, and then if it happens,
And Zoe, they wouldn't know unless you disclose it to them.
Yeah.
And tutors wouldn't know anyway because it only comes to the course coordinator. So don't worry that it hasn't come through formally. That might take a couple of weeks. So if you email us at introtoed@newcastle.edu.au, we will sort that out for you. And then I love it that you are going to go to your tutor and say, I want to speak in front of my class.
Yeah, it was a bit of a goal of mine to just be as upfront as I can this year, starting out. And
can I just say, Zoe, there are people on this chat who are commenting on what you're saying right now.
Oh, I wasn't reading, sorry.
No, and they're all saying, this is great. I'm so glad you're talking about this, Zoe.
My main focus, I just don't want to interrupt anybody else, but that's all. I just don't want to, that was why I was so pressed to ask the question.
Zoe, we all interrupt people with all different types of things. So don't feel nervous or self-conscious about that. We all have to learn to get along with people and with differences and inclusivity. And that's what education is all about. How can we be inclusive of others?
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm just reading the messages. Thanks, guys. Love you.
Welcome, Zoe, and welcome to the course.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to be here, very excited to learn from you guys. Thank you very much for taking your extra time to talk to us.
You're welcome, Zoe.
Thanks, Zoe. Okay, who have we got left? Josephine, you have the mic. Oh, look, you've got whiskers. Can't hear you, Josephine.
Sorry, I had my headset muted as well.
Okay.
I was just wondering, you were saying that Sonia's having problems and everything. I submitted my stuff 2 to 3 weeks ago and it's still coming up as unchecked.
Okay.
Should I be contacting them at that point, or?
You know what, Josephine? Wait till the end of the week.
Okay.
At the end of the week, then email them and just say, just following up.
No, that's fine. I was just wondering because you were saying it's normally done fairly quickly, and then I started worrying that it hadn't.
It is normally done quickly, but they're like
because of the issues.
Not just because of that, but because we had COVID last year. I do the 3rd year placement course. I've got about 100 students going out on placement this year that was supposed to go out last year but haven't. So they've got this huge backlog.
Okay.
So they're
all
getting
good.
to it. But I think it's reasonable, Josephine, at the end of this week, if you haven't heard back, just send them a polite email saying just following up.
I'm going to have to go because the people want to get in this room that I'm in. There's just one more question, I think. So we'll just see if Tamer wants to ask it, and then I'm going to Zoom. You got the mic, Tamer.
So I just had one question about the land type. I know it's not, and it doesn't have to be completed until, you know, second or third year. But my question with it was, if you didn't get, you know, the 3 times band 5s, can you still attempt the Lat Nature in your first year, semester 2? Or did I have to wait till I had successfully completed 80 units at university?
So Tamer, land type has got nothing to do with the 3 band 5s. They're 2 completely separate things. So just wait to get information, because Peter and I aren't going to give information about land type. Just wait until the from semester 2 onwards, and you'll get lots of land type information from Angela Layden about when to set it, but it's got nothing to do with how you got into university or 3 band 5s or 25 band 5s. It's got to do with your degree only. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I've got to run, folks, because there's people outside this room who should have been in here half an hour ago. See you all next week. See you, Heather.
Bye.
I'm into 4 hours of teaching now, Heather, but if you want to catch up a bit late in the afternoon, I'll be around from sort of 4 o'clock onwards.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll message you. Thanks, Peter.
I'm ending the session.